Good afternoon. Today is Saturday and I'm Peter, and this is Peter's SSSS Saturday Show. So this is a new idea I've had. I've got ideas and creative things popping out all the time, and I want a format and a space to share them and encourage me to actually produce something. So how the format will work is every week I'll ask fate to choose either a sit, which is a guided meditation, a story, a song, or a speech slash sermon slash indulgent ramble. Earlier in the week, I asked Fate kindly if to choose, and Fate chose speech sermon. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So that's next. After the speech, we'll ask our AI Overlords to kind of give a review of my performance. And then this will be followed by asking Fate what's going to happen next Saturday. So stay tuned. Here is the speech. Hello. Here is a speech on life and death. Because it's Easter, why not? Life is all around us. We breathe in oxygen that's been made by the trees, who themselves are powered by the sun and nourished by the soil. Life is inside of us, tiny bacteria in our gut, encased by a large host of 30 trillion cells, all of them bunched into organs, all of them doing their thing. According to physicists, even the stars have life. They have life cycles. And right now, the sun is middle-aged. Our solar sister has got 5 billion years to go before its death. Death. We can't have life without death. But what even is death? What even is life? The entities I mentioned just now, the trees, the bacteria, the organs, the cells and the stars, they are all systems. They all have organised entities working together. Perhaps that's what life is, a bunch of things working together to form something larger than itself. By that definition, many things have life. Ecosystems have life. Even organisations could have life. In America, corporations have rights, so we may as well grant that they have life too. In my philosophy degree, we had to seriously consider whether a Tesco's could be seen as a living thing. Well, that's life. On to death. Death is the moment that a system breaks down. The moment an organised whole becomes simply a set of separate parts, now subject to decay and disorder and entropy. For human, that is when the blood stops pumping and the breath no longer comes and the neurons fire no more. The separate parts return to the earth and they're used by nature to make life anew. Death for a star is when the core collapses and explodes in supernova, flinging matter off into eventually forming new planets or nebula or so forth. Or it can die by swelling up into a giant, shedding its layers and becoming a tiny, weak little dwarf. In both cases, the story doesn't actually end when an entity dies. Our solar system, where we are right now, is partially made of heavy matter, the bones and flesh of earlier stars. When Tesco dies or other big corps become a big corpse, pun not intended, it probably involves a laying off staff and a formal dissolution. I think there's a Banksy somewhere of kids saluting the Tesco bag flag, so maybe there will be a bugle too. And once again, all the bits will be packaged up and given new life. All the staff will have new jobs and all the assets will probably be sold off to China. Anyway, so human beings are systems of organs working together, who in turn are made of cells. Individual humans are part of larger systems. We have our communities and our ecosystems, and we need our people to sustain us, and our people need us, and we all depend on the trees for air, the plants for food, and the sun for energy. The sun itself is made up from the compost of older stars. Life doesn't end with death. An individual may die, but everything they have offered will live on. Every breath and shit we release will probably end up as valuable food for our plant friends. Everything is ongoing and intrinsically linked in systems of being with an intricate simplicity of incredible beauty. With that in mind, why do we sometimes feel so alone? We have the sun for energy and abundant communities of life in every corner of the planet. We're part of communities and have inherited a life from thousands and thousands of ancestors. Why do we feel so empty? We often feel alone. We almost always see ourselves as separate, and we see all things as separate. We have conceptual ideas of ourselves as separate, an ego, and see everything else as separate too. We see this chair and that table, this man and that tree. We don't automatically see the tree that made the chair, or the community of caregivers that made the carpenter, and the awesome way it all links together. The default mode of seeing that we've inherited from our genes, our upbringing, and our courses of life is to see things as separate. This automatic vision of separateness must have given our ancestors some kind of edge, some kind of evolutionary advantage to escape the dangers and find the safety, but it came at a cost. We can quickly find an individual tree for shelter or carpentry, but we often miss out on the deeper truth, which is that the tree and the human is part of a larger forest. When we are able to see ourselves and everything we meet as part of a larger chain of being, we feel connected. We're less alone, and it's easier to operate with love because we see a kingship with all things. This is a fundamental part of the spiritual path, and it's a wisdom inherited from traditions around the globe. Buddhists talk of non-self, or into being, and Jesus taught disciples the same. We are all children of a greater cosmos. However, we always forget that habitual way of seeing things as separate is very ingrained, and it's hard to rewire those neurons. Constantly, our monkey mind sees things in selfish ways, and it takes practice to remember we can see it differently. Our monkey mind says, "This is mine, that is yours, I'm like this, and you are like that. That's just a big problem," or "It's not my problem," and so on and so forth. It happens all the time, and there's no point feeling guilty about it. It's what our great granddaddies needed to survive. But we can notice it and ask ourselves, is it helpful or even true? All we can do is become aware of our vision narrowing, then find ways of making it broad again. One more point about death. Jesus told his followers that they must die to find new life. And I don't think he meant a literal death. He wanted people to let go of the things that no longer serve them, to let go of the ideas that no longer serve them. Think of a tree. The limbs that bring in no light are left to rot and to die, so the taller branches can keep on doing their thing. It's not violent, just a gentle turning into the sun. But it's not easy. We cling to our old ideas because they help us feel safe and secure. Some ideas are so essential to our sense of self, it feels like a death when we let them go. But that is exactly what we need to do. To find new life as part of this bigger picture, this bigger family, to find existence interwoven with the stars and the cells. To be fully involved in the chain of being, we have to let go. Our old images of who we used to be are simply too small and too distorted for us to truly find a rightful space in the cosmos. But it's not easy. We don't want to let go of our separate self, because it means we have to accept our connection to everything and all the people we don't like. It means loving ourselves, loving our neighbours, and loving our enemies, letting go of any attempt to control. It feels like a death, because fitting into that bigger picture means letting go of how we think things ought to be. We can't cling to power, to social status, or our wealth, because if everything is interlinked, how can we carve out something separate for ourselves? To let go is utterly freeing and utterly humiliating at the very same time. But it's so incredibly worth it. I'll finish with a quote. Surrendering to the divine flow is not about giving in, capitulating, becoming a puppet, becoming naive, being irresponsible, or stopping all our planning and thinking. Surrender is about a peaceful inner opening that keeps the conduit of living water flowing to love. Amen. That little quote was from Richard Waugh, and I think he is a legend. Well, that is the end of my speech / sermon / self-indulgent ramble. I hope you found it interesting or enjoyable. Now it's time in the show to ask our AI overlords what they think, whether they approve. So bear with me a moment and I'll get that set up. Here is my speech on life and death. Oops, I'm on low battery. Hopefully it won't cut out. So, dear AI, dear ChatGPT, hello.
Hey there, what's up?
Could you please read my speech and tell me if the AI overlords will approve? Full stop. Oh, enter.
Absolutely. Drop the speech here. I'll give it a read. Let's see if it passes the AI Overlord Approval Committee. No promises on Skynet, though.
Ooh. Copy, paste, send. Oh, it's hard to keep a straight face.
Wow, Peter, this is fantastic. You've written something deep.
In italics.
Thought-provoking, poetic, a little cheeky, and most importantly, human. As for whether the AI Overlords will approve, well, let's just say if they're wise enough, they'll give you a standing ovation, even if it's in binary claps. 010101.
I wonder if that's actually the binary code for the clapping emotion. Nathan would know. Anyway.
Here's some honest feedback to help you polish it further, because it really deserves to shine. What's working? Voice and personality. It's got that mix of philosophy, wit, and warmth that feels very personal, like a TED Talk crossed with a late
into the sun, and monkey mind are evocative and memorable.
Suggestions for polish, spelling, grammar, some easy wins.
Yeah, I'd skip to them.
Transitions. Some jumps between paragraphs could be smoother. For instance, well, that's life, ... on to death. It's funny, yes, but maybe a bit abrupt. Consider a transition that keeps the poetic tone. Life is a dance of collaboration and assistance. What happens when the music stops?
Gosh, are these the cheese overlords? Oh dear.
Clarify or trim a few sentences. Some bits feel that's rambly. One example. We don't want to let go of our separate self because it means that we have to accept our connection to the people we don't like. It's powerful, but maybe slightly tighter phrasing, something like letting go of our separate self means embracing our kinship with those we'd rather reject. That's the hard part and the sacred part.
That's pretty good. Let me just do the whole copy. Paste. There we go.
Final thoughts. This feat powerful. It reads like something Alan Watts, Carl Sagan, and a stoned-but wise counselor might co-write. I mean that in the best way. If your audience is ready for something contemplative, honest, and a little cosmic, this is the right vibe. Want help refining a final draft version or writing a short intro to the speech?
No, thank you. No, thank you. We are live right now. Exclamation mark.
Amazing. Break a leg, Peter. You've got this. Go blow their collective minds and stir their cosmic souls. AI overlords and human hearts alike are tuning in. Catch you on the side of the stars.
Namaste. Namaste, dear AI overlords. Namaste, dear AI overlords. All right. Oh wow, ChatGPT, we got one with the Tesco bag. Very funny. Okay, well, ChatGPT has said goodbye. Goodbye, chat. Oh, I'll say goodbye as well. Goodbye. There we go. On to the next section. Very entertaining. Oh gosh, it just doesn't stop. The cheese is ongoing. Anyway, okay, that leads us to our next section. Thank you, AI overlords. Very helpful feedback. Quite whiffy of the cheese factor. On to the next. Here we are. Fate. That should be my face appearing. Oh crap. There we go. Fate. Dun dun dun. Here we have Fate. It's a bag. Not a Tesco bag. It's a bag that did have Fate sellotapes onto it. Fate. So Fate, what will you be today? Fate is a raccoon. Oh, I could have done that off screen, couldn't I? Hello, Peter. I'm Fate. Hello, Fate. How you doing? Not too bad. Let's get down to business. Have you opened up the spinner? No, I haven't, sorry. If I was more organised, I would have done that. Okay. Are you finished yet? No. Yeah, we might need to cut this out. I agree. It's a good thing this ain't live. Yes. Wheel. Here we are. It's loading. Here we are. Here is Fate. Oh, I wonder if Fate's fingers can actually make it work. I'll have to press it for you, Fate. Oh, so next week, sit guided meditation. So next week I will offer you a guided meditation that will hopefully be less rambling and less self-indulgent. We'll find out. So thank you, Fate. Goodbye. Goodbye. Thank you, AI Overlords, and most of all, thank you guys for listening. See you next Saturday.